When we think about brain optimization, usually our knee jerk reaction is to immediately think about supplements, or maybe productivity hacks, or even another cup of coffee. But what if there's the possibility that one of the most powerful cognitive resets you can do for your brain only takes about 45 minutes? And even better, you don't have to take any more supplements or ice baths or anything like that. That's right, today we're talking about the neuroscience behind this idea of the short afternoon nap, the midday siesta, and what it does to your brain. And I'm not talking about sleep deprivation or a catching up on rest or anything like that. Now, there are a bunch of studies that actually tested what we call the lazy nap myth. That says that if you take a nap during the day, that means you're basically lazy. Well, a neuroscience study published in Science Advances asked the question: does a short daytime nap meaningfully change how the brain functions? And for this study, the researchers brought in 20 normal healthy adults into a controlled sleep laboratory and had each participant complete two conditions on separate days. One afternoon they took a nap, and the other afternoon they stayed awake. That's it. That was literally the only difference. It was a pretty simple test, nap or no nap, and these naps took place somewhere between 1:15 and 2:15 in the afternoon, which this time of day actually aligns with your body's natural circadian dip that happens in the early afternoon. That's why people talk about the 2 o'clock slump. Anyway, in the study, on average, the people slept for about 45 minutes, and it was mostly light to moderate sleep. So that means they weren't going into deep, hours-long REM sleep. And then before and after each session, the researchers measured brain activity using EEG, which stands for electroencephalography to track brainwave patterns, and transcranial magnetic stimulation, aka TMS, to assess how easily neurons could form new connections. That combination of EEG and TMS allowed researchers to measure overall synaptic strength and the brain's plasticity, which just means your ability to learn. Now, did you know that your brain actually gets full during the day? Just like when you eat, your stomach gets full, your brain can actually get full too. Because as you move through your day, you don't realize it, but your brain is constantly making and strengthening connections. Every email, every conversation, every scroll is making neurological connections. And that's good up to a point, because when too many synapses are highly strengthened, your brain actually becomes less flexible. So to put this in other words, think of it like the RAM on a computer filling up. There's less room to efficiently encode new information. And when this happens to your brain, this concept is known as synaptic saturation, which is where the nap comes into play. So after the 45-minute nap, the researchers observed reduced overall synaptic strength and an increase in capacity for forming new connections. What that means is that the participants' brains looked less saturated and more ready to learn. So taking that 45-minute nap appeared to gently dial down global synaptic activity, which created space for new information to be encoded more efficiently. And this study just continues to support what scientists and other researchers have observed after a full night of sleep, just on a smaller scale, which is that sleep isn't just rest, it's also a recalibration for your brain, and that even a short half-hour to 45-minute nap can initiate that process. Just a quick reminder that the research is not suggesting that naps should replace quality nighttime sleep, okay? No, there's no substitute for sleep, and if someone is chronically sleep deprived or dealing with insomnia, that's completely different. But for generally healthy people and healthy sleepers, a short nap can help you optimize your learning efficiency during mentally demanding days. So some examples of who would benefit from this are students preparing for exams, athletes who are learning new motor patterns or choreography, creatives doing some deep work, or if you're a professional making lots of decisions. This is about brain flexibility, not laziness. And like I mentioned earlier, that 1-3 p.m. window aligns with your body's natural circadian lull. Your alertness dips slightly, and even if you slept well the night before. So since your body naturally dips in the afternoon, if you lean into that rhythm instead of fighting it, you can actually support your cognitive performance by recalibrating your synaptic balance. So the big question when it comes to napping is, how do I nap without ruining my night sleep? So if you decide you want to experiment with this, or even just keep it as a tool in your back pocket for certain days, here's a simple plan you can start with. Number 1, keep your nap between 30 to 60 minutes long, because that's long enough to initiate that synaptic recalibration, but still short enough to avoid deep sleep inertia. Got it? So you aren't getting that REM sleep that you'll get during the night. Number 2, try to nap before 3 p.m. since later naps increase the chance of interfering with your nighttime sleep. Number 3, make it low stimulation. Now, to me, this one is kind of common sense. Just sleep in a good environment for sleeping. That means dim the light, minimal noise, and be at a comfortable temperature. Number four, don't force it. You probably don't need to nap daily, though you absolutely can if you have the time. But remember that this is a tool to help optimize you, not stress you out even more. And if you lay there for a few minutes and don't actually fall asleep, don't feel like you just wasted half an hour because there are so many other and different benefits to that type of intentional rest, which I might make a video about in the future if anyone's interested. And if naps consistently disrupt your nighttime sleep, take it as feedback. I feel like the tides are starting to change, but overall, people glorify pushing through fatigue. You see influencers all telling you to hustle more and have more willpower, but that's not always the best direction. Sleep, even short naps, can reshape your neural networks. They fine tune synaptic strength, restore learning capacity, and help maintain cognitive flexibility throughout the day. And there's this growing body of evidence that proves that rest is not passive. It's not optional when you're living a healthy lifestyle. And it might sound counterintuitive, but remember that sometimes, just sometimes, maybe the most productive thing you can do for your brain is to step away for 45 minutes. So, in my opinion, when multiple lines of research and studies suggest that sleep actively recalibrates learning capacity, yeah, that's probably worth paying attention to. So, if you enjoy this video on how napping helps your cognitive function, like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on more free natural health and wellness videos. Thanks, guys.